Nick, what did you like the best about just the start to the game and kind of trying to carry that over with kind of what worked so well?
I mean, one of the biggest things I love about this team is just how resilient we are. We hold ourselves to a very high standard internally before it even gets to Cheryl. And so, after the Seattle loss, I think we all kind of looked ourselves in the mirror and we understand like what we're trying to do, what we're trying to accomplish, and keeping the main thing, and that's every day doing what we know we need to do to win games. And so I think when we came back here, finally being back at Target Center, we were in Seattle, which felt like a decade. And so it was nice to be back home, and we just wanted to come with that energy, the energy that we know we can play with. And that's the best part. Like, we enjoy doing that for each other. We enjoy showing up for each other, and that's the best part, because everybody was on the same page. We were like silent in the locker room. It was crazy. We were just so locked in on what we were trying to do for each other, and that's the best part.
You've been talking to Masha and Ola recently. I guess I have a question about both, but I'll start with Masha. What have you seen in terms of her hustle? Because, we've heard just diving on the court for loose balls.
Masha's been the best player in Russia for like almost a decade now, and so I got a chance to play with her. I already knew what she was like, and I wasn't playing with her like on some low division team or something overseas. We were playing on the ECAT, so it was me, JJ, Sluty, Alba Torrens, if you know, BG, and every day like Masha was out there like competing her behind off. So it's no surprise for me. Like, I already know what Masha is about, and I think once she got comfortable, which is what you guys saw that last game, she's just really able to do so many different things for us on the court. And the hustle, that's just who she is.
What was it like seeing Ola's first bucket?
Oh man, it's just so much joy. You just remember those moments, and something that she'll never forget. Her family will never forget. And so it's just really special. She was so excited. Seeing her reaction, I think, was the best part, because she works so hard. They both do, but especially Ola, having her first experience in the W, and being here, and we just love on her, and we're just so excited that she's here and having that moment. We were so excited for her. So I'm just happy for her and her family.
K-Mac, we have so many statistics and ways of measuring offense, and we can look at your three-point shooting and all that and say everything is wonderful. On the defensive side, it's not as easy, but you really emerged last season as the player who's going to guard the best player, as the center for the Lynx. So can you assess your defense this year, especially compared to how high you had it last year?
I still have to get back to that space where, I'm playing both sides of the ball. I think I came out after not being in training camp and things like that, and shooting the ball. Obviously the offense stuff is like very instinctual, but the defense is something that I've really worked on throughout my career, something I really take a lot of pride in, and I know Cheryl holds me to a very high standard in that way as well. So there's still levels for me to get to. Thank goodness it's only June, but every day I'm focused on watching film, and today's another challenge for that. Obviously Vegas has great talent on the offensive side, so just being able to continue to be that person that my teammates can rely on, that Cheryl can rely on in those moments. I think I just really take a lot of pride in it, and I enjoy it, because not everybody wants to do that. And as somebody who can shoot the ball so well and then also doesn't want anybody else to get a shot off, I think that's just who I am. So I love being that for this team.
Speaking of defense, what kind of challenge does Vegas pose with like their four guards and Kia Stokes, and how that could create different kind of matchups being so guard-oriented without Asia?
Yeah, it's hard. They have to play a different brand of basketball without, their best player, Asia Wilson. But a lot of movement, a lot of ghosting, ball screens. Chelsea Gray is like a maestro. We know that. So her being able to get Jewel and Jackie in the spots. Jackie's playing out of her mind right now. In the spots that they like to. Then you have Tiff coming in, a great slasher. They have 9, three-point line. So they possess a lot of challenges for us, and we know that. But, our defense is our identity, and we want to be able to adjust, on the fly. And the league is changing, too. I think you're going to see a lot more guard lineups as we continue to move on in these next couple of years. So that's just another step that we have to take, and we're up for the challenge.
We were talking, I know that you heard Masha talking about you earlier. I was asking about your cooking and your baking.
I know.
Tell me a little bit about, I think she was talking about you made some brownies, you made some really good salmon.
Oh gosh, yeah, so my parents actually came to Russia, was that 2019, which seems like so long ago, and Masha would always invite me over anyway, because it's lonely in Russia, I'm the only, I don't have any family there, so she would invite me to her apartment, and I would cook for them. They're younger than me, obviously, so I would cook for them and just hang out with them. We would watch games, EuroLeague games or whatever, and so my parents came, and I made like this salmon and some brownies and stuff, and they never let it go, which is a good thing, I guess, right? So it was good, but I just feel like food has always brought people together, and it doesn't matter where I am in the world, I try to use food as a way to connect, and so that was just another instance of that. I've done that my entire career, but yeah, that's something that's definitely high in my mind when it comes to Mosh, for sure.
And I know I've heard, the reason I'm asking, my colleague Kent was telling me about some of the big cookies that you make. I mean, are you
The
getting
T-Rex cookies, I think I did like a collab with them before, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really cool. Mint chocolate chip, it was awesome.
There you go. Definitely on the lookout for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
K-Mac, after all these years playing with Nafisa, how would you kind of describe her leadership style and how you've seen her kind of grow in that?
You know, Fee is not somebody who's Fee already holds herself to a very high standard, whether she says it or not. It's like a quiet confidence. And that's kind of how she leads, too. She says things when she knows she has to, but she leads by example, and that's who she's always been. And especially watching her blossoming, I think over the last year and a half, too, has just been really, really special. She's obviously an MVP caliber type of player, but she just holds herself to such a high standard, which allows her teammates to hold ourselves to a very high standard. But she wants the same accountability too, and I think when you're on a team with a player like that caliber, it's easy for her to take the easy way out because she's already so talented. But she wants the pressure. She wants to be coached. She wants to have the respect of her teammates, and that's how she shows up as a leader, by just demanding that of herself and holding herself accountable. And then just like I always use the word grace when I think of Fee, because she just does it with so much grace. Like even her game, it's very smooth, but then she just carries herself with so much grace off the court too, and that allows everybody else to kind of fall into place too, because she's out there doing the work, and so there's no excuse for anybody else to not be doing it.
I'm going to be talking to Courtney and her dad later. I'm wondering, have you listened or watched their podcast that they have?
I have, yeah. And I mean, I see Court's dad all the time. That's Pop. So yeah, they're great. And I just love their relationship. I think it's really cool to see him supporting her exactly who she is, and just kind of having a very similar personality. They're like twins. And him just supporting the Lynx and having his own thing, and then being able to do it together and talk about their journey together, I think is really impactful, really special, especially a black dad. I think it's just really, really cool, just talking about like all the nitty-gritty things that made them into who their relationship is now. And he just loves on her so much, and I think that's so cool. It's so dope. And yeah, he's the #1 Lynx fan, #1 Courtney fan first though.
You ever hear him on the court when you're playing around?
No. I don't hear anything on the court. I really don't hear anything. I'm not gonna lie.
There you go.
Do you ever have moments like against the Sparks where you're going into halftime and Fee is tied with the Sparks in points, where it's like, holy cow, she's like really good?
I have those moments a lot with Fee. Sometimes
I just gotta ask.
There'll be like 5-minute spurts or something, and then I'll look up, and I looked up like at the end of the first quarter, and it was like 16, 5, and 4. I'm like, that's some people's like best stat line of the whole season, and she did it in a quarter. So, like I said, I just think she just has a different type of motor and a different type of mentality, especially this year, but especially the last year and a half, where she's really just like blossomed and knows who she is as a pro, and just continue to push herself. Obviously, Cher holds her to a very high standard as well, but she holds herself to that accountability, and she wants to be great for us and great for this team. So it's just who Fee is. And like she comes into the huddle, and it's just like, okay, what's next? She's not even thinking about it, and I think that's the best part about it, because she's never too high or too low. Even when people are like, oh my gosh, how? Like, she's just like, I don't know, I'm just playing really hard and trying to win every possession, and that's the best thing about Fee.
Courtney told us she told her on the bench something like, what, you're that one?
Yeah.
Did you say anything to her, or is it just
no,
it's just
Fee already
another
knows
game?
how I feel about her. I don't have to say much. Courtney's more of a hype woman. That's her thing. I'm more of a, pat on the back. You got it, Fee. You're doing great. There was one time like I texted her after the game, like, you're just really good at basketball. Like, and when you do the right things, the game comes back to you in a beautiful way too, I think. And I think that's kind of happened with her too. She just feels the game, and once you get to that certain point in your career where it starts to slow down, it's a beautiful place to be, So I think that I'm really just excited for her, and I'm just glad I get to be along for the ride. She's doing amazing things, and I'm glad it's with us.